What's up, Internet? Welcome back to Sega Break. This is Linzer22. Sonic Team's creative officer, as you all know, Takashi Iizuka, had an interview with Games Radar, and they talked a little bit about Sonic Frontiers. Now, they didn't go into any crazy specifics. They did talk about some changes that they were making, like Sonic might have combat. That might be interesting. And they talked a little bit about Open Zone, but nothing too specific. But the one thing I wanted to talk about just for this video, maybe I'll talk about the combat later in another video, is about the aim for this game. So originally I thought this game was it was aiming to take advantage of the previous generation, which is PS4 and Xbox One. And the reason for that is because obviously chip shortages. Not enough people actually have the new consoles to take advantage of full features, so people are gonna end up buying this game for their older consoles, and they're not gonna look as good as they could because they aimed for a higher console. But according to this interview, that they are aiming for PS5 and Series X. So that leads me to another question. How's the Switch version gonna look? Is there gonna be a Switch version? We already got confirmation that there was a Switch version. But interestingly enough, in this interview, they actually leave out the Switch version. I don't know if that's because they wanted to make it clear that this is aiming for high fidelity on those brand new consoles that most people don't have yet, or I don't know. So what are we gonna see on the Switch? Are we going to see a port of this version that is designed for next gen, or are we going to see a cloud version? I keep seeing that thrown around. Or are we going to see not a port or a cloud version, but a Switch build, a completely different game but with the same name, a lot like what we saw with Sonic Generations and Sonic Colors. And if you look back, I can't remember the guy who leaked this, but he's one of the famous leakers that leaks a lot of Nintendo stuff and leaks a lot of Sonic stuff. I literally cannot remember who he is off the top of my head, but well, that's beside the point. Anyways, this person, they did not specifically leak that Dimps is working on it, but they mentioned how suspicious Dimps' current project is empty. What I mean, I'm probably not making sense right now, but what I'm saying is Dimps doesn't seem to be working on anything right now, or at least not announcing that they're working on anything right now. So this person concluded that maybe Dimps is working on this. Now, Dimps is not a developer I'm exactly excited for. I played the Generations ports, didn't really... Well, let's circle through it. Yes, so I played the Sonic Generations port on the 3DS. It was meh. I played the Sonic Colors port on the DS, and it was fine, but it was like not a good Sonic Rush. Now that being said, Sonic Rush was great, so I need to point that out. Now what else did they work on? Sonic 4. It had its problems. It definitely felt very Dimpsy, even though it was supposed to feel classic-y. But let me think. I think that's it. In terms of... Oh, wait. No, they worked on the Sonic Unleashed Wii and PS2 ports, which, strangely enough, got better reviews, even though they were worst games. But let's remember, review numbers are just subjective numbers that different reviewers tack onto a game. So I believe it was Craig who interviewed Sonic Unleashed for the Wii and PS2. He reviewed it favorably. I can't say that word right. He favored it. He liked the game. Okay, Jesus. And then Hillary Goldstein, I think it was. How do I remember these names? Reviewed Sonic Unleashed for the Xbox 360, and they didn't like the game. But I have a feeling that this person was more into like first-person shooters, and they reviewed Sonic because they were vaguely nostalgic for the old games, and then they just don't want Sonic in 3D at all. But I mean, that review is a meme in itself, so I'm not gonna go into specifics. Maybe I'll make a video about that in the future. I don't know. Let me know if you guys would like a discussion video about that review. I mean, it's kind of been talked to death, but with the resurgence of Sonic Unleashed, maybe that needs to be brought up again. But anyways, back to what I was talking about. What could we possibly see for the Switch? At this point, I either want a port or an original build of the game. If there is an original build of the game, then I would at least, I know this is kind of nitpicky, but I would either want a name change to something similar, or a subtitle to go under Sonic Frontiers. Maybe like Sonic Frontiers Cyberspace, because it only has cyberspace levels or something like that. A great example of that, if you've ever played any of the Tony Hawk games, Tony Hawk American Wasteland was the console versions of the game, and then they made a portable version of that game, but they changed the name to Skateland. And I think if they do something like that, it would be pretty cool, and a lot of people would pick up both versions. A lot of people would pick up either either the PC, Xbox, or PS5 version, they're either gonna pick up the PS5, the Series X, or the PC version, and they'll pick up the Switch version as well, and hopefully they'll complement each other. Who knows? If they do cloud, no thank you, I don't need that. Now, I'm not against cloud. I actually enjoy cloud, especially on the Xbox, because it's kind of convenient. You don't have to download the game to try it. You just literally click the cloud button and you're just immediately playing the game. But the big problem is it's the Switch, and it's portable. And in my mind, if I'm going to be playing any game on the Switch, I want the reassurance that I can take this on the go. And if it's a cloud version, I obviously can't do that unless I get some sort of data plan for my Switch, which is not possible because you can't put a SIM card into the Switch. And also, to second that, when it comes to cloud gaming, if you're gonna cloud game, you 100% don't own the game, obviously, because it's running on another server. So I don't want to pay the full price, the $60 or the $70 price tag for a cloud version. No thank you. Just put it on a subscription service, because you're not going to own it anyways. At that point, why even buy the 70 or 60? Now, let's get to the ports. Now, there's one thing I kind of want to mention, just a little bit. I have a suspicion that this game was originally aiming for PS4 and Xbox One. And as time went on and they were delaying it, I don't want to make it sound like it's been over delayed, because I don't think it has. I think there's only been just one huge delay, which is just a year. But that, my point is, since it's been delayed over and over, it probably got shifted to its main aim as PS5 and Series X. So they're probably adding a lot more features for those consoles, and that's going to be the best way to play the game. Maybe they're doing things like they're taking the base game that was going to be for PS4 and Xbox One, and they're adding, I don't know, more flowers to the ground, grass to the ground, and just more stuff that makes it feel nice. Maybe jumping into these cyberspace levels will look better on these newer consoles because the SSD drive, maybe it's instant, as they were advertising before the PS5 came out. I could see that. That would be really cool, actually, if you're running a Sonic and you're, boom, just blown straight into the level. Well, we'll see. Obviously, you can't do that on the current consoles or the Switch. But now, if they were going to port the PS4 or Xbox version over to the Switch, I mean, I can imagine all they really got to do is take away some of the plants and foliage, whatever you want to call it. Cut the frame rate in half. Maybe even make Sonic's 3D model have, I don't know, lower res texture or lower polygon count. I don't know. Just do whatever you got to do to make it run on the Switch at least 30 frames per second as it was in Forces. But But once you start talking about making PS5 and Series X the aim, it gets a little iffy. I mean, is the Xbox One gonna be the 30 frames per second version? And then what? So the Switch is like a 15 frames per second version? I'm sure that's not the case. But part of me also thinks, okay, so if this game was originally going to be planned for the PS4 and Xbox One, and then it got shifted to its primary aim to be PS5 and Series X, then maybe there is kind of a build that would work for the Switch. Maybe that's what the Switch version is going to be based off, an early build that they have to retweak. But then again, I go back to the older tweets, and there were many tweets that specified the Switch version was going to be kind of its own original version. And then there was that recent leak about prices that showed that the Switch price was actually lower than the other versions. So maybe this is just going to be a completely different tooling of it. And in fact, to go back to some of those leaks, and once again, none of these leaks have been verified. I recall vaguely that there was a leak about the Switch version kind of being in, development hell. So let's hope that's not the case. I would like the Switch version just because of the portability. Now, the last thing I kind of want to end this off on is I do believe there might be an online mode for this game because Sega has made it very clear that they want to start focusing on online multiplayers in their games, basically, because that's where all the money's made. They made a bunch of money in PSO2, so they're probably going to want to make that money in the Sonic franchise somehow. So I wonder if it's going to be kind of like a Fortnite ordeal where Fortnite can play on your mobile phone and can also play on PS5. So they'll probably have a multiplayer version or a multiplayer mode in this game that can scale all the way from mobile phone all the way to PS5. I don't know, honestly. I mean, it's not like PSO2 scales all the way to mobile. Although, you know what? Maybe the mobile version is just cloud, because let's be real, if it's an online mobile game, if it's an online multiplayer game, then it doesn't need to be on the disc or the card itself. It doesn't need to be on the console. You can stream it to the cloud. That portion is fine to totally be using the Azure technology or whatever. So we'll see. We'll see what Sega's planning with this. I know that they are doubling down on this Azure technology over at Sega. So let's wait and see. Anyways, what do you guys think? Are you guys getting this for the Switch? Are you guys getting it for the I guess it's still current consoles, PS4 and Xbox One? Or are you getting it for the next-gen consoles, PS5 and Series S/X? Let me know down below, and if you like Sega discussion videos, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll be back with more.